Bolts fans, we're on cloud nine. 9 straight wins for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they're going for number 10 tonight against a team the offense just hung 7 goals on. More on today's Locked On Lightning.
You're Locked On Lightning, your daily podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Lightning your first listen of the day. Every single day, we are your free daily Tampa Bay Lightning podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we want to give a shout out to our everydayers. Those of you who tune into every single show, every single day, we love you. Appreciate the support you give us week in and week out. I'm Nick Morgan, and look who's back, everybody. The chicken noodle soup to my 7-Up. It's Greg Stephen. Greg, happy to have you back, my friend. Welcome back. How you feeling?
Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. Hope everyone had a great holiday season. A little under the weather, but coming back strong. And man, what a great time to be alive with the Lightning on a heater right now.
You're jumping back into a 9-game win streak. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
With some big wins on the horizon. One of them happened Saturday against the Philadelphia Flyers. It was a 7-2 win. And what do you know? They take on the Flyers again tonight, again in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Mentioned it last week. Weird scheduling, whatever. We're going to have a little bit of a preview on that show coming up a little bit later. We'll also talk about the 9-game win streak and the biggest reason why the offense absolutely on fire right now. And Monday power rankings. Today we're going to be doing Norris front runners. Is it Cale Makar versus everyone else? Or, like me, do you have somebody else in the NHL number 1? Is it Darren Radish? It's not Darren Radish, but there is somebody that I have ahead of Cale Makar right now. We'll dive into that in just a little bit. Yeah, apparently that's going to draw a reaction from a lot of people, including Greg. Lot to get to on today's show. Before we jump into it, want to mention today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. We are right in the thick of the wild card round, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. So visit FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. All right, Greg. Big story for the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 straight wins.
Yeah.
Latest win coming again via a 7-2 win over the Philadelphia Flyers on Saturday. Second time in 3 games they've hit that 7-goal mark. And the big story to me right now, to quote Alicia Keys, sort of, this offense on fire.
Nice.
During this 7-game win streak, the Lightning are averaging over 5 goals per game, almost an entire goal average above the next highest team in that span, the Colorado Avalanche. Yeah, averaging almost an entire goal per game more than the second highest scoring NHL team in that span. And everybody, Greg, on this offense is cooking right now. But Nikita Kucherov.
Dog.
Dear God, Nikita Kucherov. 9-game win streak that the Lightning have right now. 23 points. 23 points in that 9-game win streak. Had 2 goals, 2 assists Saturday. Greg, my God, friend, where do we begin talking about this offense? Is it Nikita Kucherov or is it everybody right now?
Really, it's everybody, but Cooch, man. I mean, God,
yeah,
he's made some plays lately where I've just been like, how? And like, your vision allows you to see this play ahead of he just looks remarkable, man. Like, I think if he had been playing at this caliber from day 1 of this season, he'd be top of the leaderboard right now in points.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's obvious and easy to say, but I think it's certainly true. And yeah, I mean, at the pace he's on right now, the Lightning are just frying everybody. I mean, to drop 7 goals twice in the last 3 games is no easy feat against any team. Let's be real. It doesn't matter if it's the Flyers or the Avs or whoever it is.
Or your favorite team, the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, unfortunately. But you know what? Celebrity picked up a few points in that one. But no, I think everyone is cooking. I think what's really helped this offense is how much Braden Point has returned to his form.
Mm-hmm.
And something that, we kind of beat to death, previously because, he wasn't playing very well. He sat out for a while due to injury. And then since returning, man, he looks like a different guy. And I think that really has helped Cooch as well.
Yeah. To me, Braden Point, another 3-assist game the other night.
Yeah.
I think that's been a big thing because you've allowed that second line, Jake Gensel, Anthony Cirelli, and Brandon Hagel to really gel. There's been some consistency there. Mm-hmm. That's a big thing to me. I'm going to go kind of another X factor, and I think Darren Radish. You know, we talked about him twice last week, but I do think him on that point, sort of running the first line offense, that first offensive unit, whether it's on the power play or not. He's added a different dimension for there, and he's added his offensive skills to the mix. And you watch him, he's jumping into plays. He's sometimes acting like a forward out there. He's going low. He's not afraid to carry the puck in, force other people. I think the Lightning have done a really good job when he does that to sort of anchor back and know when that's happening. You talk about JJ Moser as the defensive partner has been really good about making sure the Lightning don't get beat the other way when that happens. But yeah, I mean, to me, Radish has been a big X factor as well.
Oh, yeah, certainly. I mean, Radish has been remarkable as well. Like, I think he deserves just as much of an applause as Kucherov does. Let's be real. Yeah. I mean, especially for just coming out of nowhere, right? Like, we know what Kuch is capable of. But Radish has really, he stepped it up, man. And to think that Hedman has been out this whole time, I think is even crazier, because I think normally he's that guy that is filling the Radish role, if you will. But yeah, I mean, Darren Radish stepped it up for the offense. I think Hagel looks really good right now too, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. You and I, we can spend the entire show just like, that classic bros naming old athletes,
right?
Bit, and just be like Anthony Cirelli, man, Brendan Hagel, man.
Donnie James, he looks pretty fire lately.
Yeah, I think we could just do that with the entire lineup, and that's what goes. And you know what, Greg? I really wanted so bad to begin the show by being, oh man, the power play is so much better. And then they went 0 for 2 against the Flyers.
Right.
Yeah. But I will say it anyway. Even the power play to me has looked dangerous. I know they were 0 for 2 against Philly the other night, but they have over the past 9 games, it's slowly gotten better. Of course, 3 for 5 against the Sharks last week, and then they had a clutch power play goal against the Colorado the game before. It does look more dangerous, and you and I talked about this where it looked like everything was clicking except the finish. The shots on goal were better. The puck movement was better. It was just they couldn't find a way to put the puck in the net. They've started to put the puck in the net, but the power play to me still threatening, and I think that is a big part of this offense as well.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. And even just possession in the zone has increased tenfold. It just looks so much better all around. And I think, like you said, it doesn't necessarily matter that they were 0 for 2 in this last game on the power play. It doesn't mean anything to me. I think obviously you'd like to convert one of those, but it doesn't change the fact that it looks much, much better. And I think, you score a power play goal against the Avs. That's really the key to the game. So, no easy feat. And, just a quick tidbit, that was what, the 4th regulation loss for the Avalanche?
Yes.
So, remarkable stuff. But still, I mean, the Lightning were one of those teams that took them down in regulation. So, obviously they are on fire. Yeah.
One of those games that they won in those 9-game win streaks was Saturday against the Philadelphia Flyers, a 7-2 win. A little bit of recap for that game, plus a preview, because wouldn't you know it, Greg, the Lightning play the Philadelphia Flyers again tonight. Same building and everything. Is it really going to be wash, rinse, and repeat? Or are we going to see something maybe a little bit different in tonight's game? More on that coming up in just 1 second. Today's episode is brought to you by Factor. New year, big goals, and somehow even less time to cook. If you're trying to eat healthy in 2026, but you don't want to spend hours grocery shopping or meal prepping, Factor makes it easy. These are fully prepared meals designed by a dietitian and crafted by chefs so you can eat well without all the work. Factor meals are made with quality, functional ingredients, lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole foods, healthy fats, no refined sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and no refined seed oils. Just real food that fits your goals, whether that's eating healthier, managing calories, or eating more protein. I have some Factor in my fridge right now. I love grabbing them on busy days when I don't necessarily have 30 minutes to an hour to stop what I'm doing and make myself a healthy lunch or dinner. My favorite thing is the variety. There's over 100 rotating meals every week, everything from high protein meals to calorie smart meals, Mediterranean diet, and even GLP-1 support options. The meals are always fresh, never frozen, and they're ready in about 2 minutes. No prep, no stress. Right now, Factor also has new Muscle Pro meals. They're perfect when you want something a little bit higher in protein to support your strength and recovery and help get you ripped, folks. So head to factormeals.com/lockedonNHL50off. You can see that code on the bottom of your screen there or see it in our show notes. Again, use code LOCKEDONNHL50off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Again, that's factormeals.com/lockedonNHL50off. Code LOCKEDONNHL50off for 50% off your first box and free breakfast for a year. Make eating healthy easy with Factor. We're back on Locked on Lightning. Nick Morgan here alongside Greg Stephen. And Greg, it's deja vu. Lightning taking on the Philadelphia Flyers tonight in Philly. This is not a rerun. We did not get the schedule wrong. This is game 2 of what feels like an old-timey baseball series between the Lightning and Flyers. Obviously, 7-2 win over the Flyers on Saturday. Greg, real quick before we kind of get into tonight's game, let's do just like a quick run through of that game. Obviously, the offense was cooking. What else did you see from that game?
I thought the goaltending was pretty strong. And I mean, maybe some people would say the Flyers aren't the most deadly opponent, but they've looked pretty sharp this season, man. I thought I had the Flyers really low on my totem pole when we did the rankings, and I was mistaken. I mean, they are still a great team. Like Zegras has been insane, and I thought that the door was shut, and I think that's why there was only 2 goals against.
Yeah. The Flyers have been kind of a weird bug this year because I think their offense hasn't been great. We talked about this last week when we did the preview for Saturday's game, but their defense has been, I would say, their strong suit this year. Weird that I'm saying it after they just gave up 7 goals, but defense has been good. Goaltending from Dan Vladar has been pretty good this year. That offense, streaky, even though Trevor Zegras has been really good this season. But obviously no Travis Konechny in that last game, no Jamie Drysdale. So it's a little bit of a different bug for Philly, but it is, I agree with you. The Flyers did look threatening. To me, I would say like a big story of the game also was Gage Gonzalez.
Yes.
We talked about that first line and Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point cooking. The other person on that line for the better part of this 9-game win streak has been Gage Gonzalez. And look, we've talked about Gage a little bit this year, and the fact that we haven't talked about him more has kind of been the story of Gage Gonzalez. He's not having that sort of rising out of nowhere impact that he had last year. But to me, Greg, I think Gage has been very complimentary on that top line. I think he's not having to do too much. but I think he's doing exactly what you need somebody playing with Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov to do. I think he's going out there and creating space for them. I think he's smart about where he's positioning himself. And I think he's acting like a good piece of support for those two players to go out there and have some more space. And you are seeing his stats rise a little bit. Had a 2-goal game against the Flyers the other night. Yeah, are you getting that same vibe from Gage that something about this trio up front is working with Gage there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think actually a big part of it is his speed. I think that, you stick him on that line, and Cooch is a guy who doesn't need to be fast necessarily. He's just looking for someone who's going to be open. And Gage, using his speed, is his ability to get open is elite. And I think that's a big reason why he meshes so well with that line. He's also such a great puck retriever. I mean, and that's what we need on this line, right? I mean, especially with Point sitting in front of the goal and Cooch sitting on the half wall, you want the guy to go get the puck in the other corner. So I think Gage fills that role really well. And like you said, he's come to life recently. And actually, at the end of last season, he was riding that line, and he looked amazing. So I think it makes total sense to stick him up there. And I think that, like you said, he's doing it well. He's showing he can do it, and I think he's comfortable there. It's funny because if it were me, I'd be intimidated playing with Kucherov. You never know where you get the puck, and you better do something with it when he gives it to you. But I think Gage, it seems like he kind of thrives there.
Yeah, you said puck retrieval, and I think that's a really big thing for me too. Is he's doing a lot of the dirty work for that line,
right.
Which I think is keeping Braden Point from having to do a lot of that dirty work, and is keeping Nikita Kucherov in positions where he can be dangerous to score.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look ahead to tonight's game, Greg. Obviously 7-2 for the Lightning on Saturday. I don't anticipate much different in terms of strategy, in terms of who plays. Maybe JoJo instead of Andrei Vasilevsky might be the only change. It sounds like the Flyers lineup is going to be kind of the same in terms of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
No Konechny again, probably no Jamie Drysdale, probably no Bobby Brink. So it seems like it's going to be a lot of the same players. They might have Dan Vladar in net instead of Sam Ersson. So the lineups are the same. Are you anticipating anything different about this game, Greg?
Look, I don't think it'll be as lopsided. I think, the Flyers aren't going to let that happen again on their home ice. And not saying the Flyers will win the game. I just don't think it will be by 5 goals a loss. I do think the Lightning take this game again. I think they should take this game again. But yeah, with not much change, I think Vladar starting, if he does, is probably better for the Flyers. And I anticipate this being a much closer game than 7-2.
Yeah, the Vladar is going to be the X factor because he's been the better goalie for them.
Right.
This year. Yeah, I think the Flyers are going to come out motivated. I think we're going to see maybe a little bit more of a physical game early. Because I do think I know like this happens all the time in the playoffs, and it's kind of a playoff stereotype at this point. But the fact that you're seeing this team this many times in a row, it's kind of when bad feelings start, and the Flyers were embarrassed in game 1.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Flyers come out extremely physical early and try to set the tone and try to avenge that game. And I said on Friday's show, and I said the Flyers win games when they make it sloppy, when they make the game a slog. Their defense steps up. Their goaltending from Dan Vladar has been great this year. When they try to make it a messy game, that's when the door opens for them. And I think if you're the Flyers, you're going to try to make this more of a messy game. And I do think this is a game in which the Bolts really have to be on their P's and Q's. They really have to watch the turnovers. They really have to limit the mistakes. And if they do that, I do think there is a great chance for them to win again. I'm with you, though. I don't think this is going to be another 7-2 route, though. I think this is going to be close. I think it's going to be physical. Obviously, I'm still leaning Bolts, but it's the Flyers are going to come out hungry, and it's hard in the NHL to beat two teams twice, or the same team twice. So,
yeah, absolutely agree with you. And like you said, I think this is going to be a much closer game. I'm going with like 5-3. That's my prediction.
I would go even lower. I would say like 3-2.
Okay.
Or the over under 6.5. Do you want to take a stab?
Ooh, kinda. Yeah, 6.5, huh?
It's your first game back. Why not, man? Take a
You know what? Sign me up to embarrass myself again. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the over. I think the Lightning are scoring at such a high pace right now. I don't anticipate that slowing down tonight. And yeah, I'll take 5 from the Lightning and 3 from the Flyers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not taking a stab at the over. I've learned my lesson. And yeah, I already said, like, I can see this being a little bit of a closer game, and I think maybe a little bit more low scoring for the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll have recap on this game tomorrow. For the rest of the show, though, it's time for some Monday power rankings, and today we're going to be doing Norris front runners. Seems like it's Cale Makar. Not me, though. I've got somebody else at number 1 right now. Greg's shaking his head already. We'll dive into this debate coming up on Locked on Lightning. Today's episode is brought to you by Quo. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think, there's got to be a better way. Well, there is. Streamline your communications is one of the quickest upgrades you can make to your business. And that's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, Quo. It's the smartest way to run your business communications, because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating all in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. I love how simple Quo makes everything. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number, so nothing gets missed. Everyone sees the full conversation thread, which makes replies faster and more personal, and it works right from your phone or computer. You can even keep your existing number. And Quo's smart AI tools automatically log calls, summarize conversations, and highlight next steps, so you never miss or forget a detail and nothing falls through the cracks. It's no surprise Quo is the number 1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams around the world. So make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for 3, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnhl. Again, that is quo.com/lockedonnhl. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. We're back on Locked on Lightning. Nick Morgan here alongside Greg Stephen. And Greg, it is time for Monday Power Rankings. Today's topic, Norris frontrunners. All right, my friend, it seems to be Cale Makar overwhelming favorite against the field. I'll just ask you, do you have Makar number 1 right now?
Absolutely. I think you should have just titled this section, Nick defends his take on the Norris.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I really want to know who and why.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you. If you're talking to me about the best defender in the NHL right now, it's Cale Makar. No questions asked. He's got it on offense, he's got it on defense, but you also look at the Norris the past couple years, and there is a little bit of a quote-unquote MVP take into there. Like, who's the defenseman that's really contributing the most to his team's success, that's really changing the vibe of the team? And to me, I'm looking at Quinn Hughes on the Minnesota Wild right now. Since that trade has completely changed the dynamic of the Minnesota Wild.
Yes.
And he has turned the Minnesota Wild into a team that kind of was treading water at the start of the year, into a team that, quite frankly, I would certainly call a team in the conversation for Stanley Cup frontrunner.
See that?
I think they look sharper. Their offense is sharper. They're scoring more. They're right now tied for Dallas for second place in that Central Division behind Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
For me, yeah, I mean, Quinn Hughes, if you're interpreting the Norris, as some people do, is kind of like the like the defensive MVP, that's a take. Like that's my take is Quinn Hughes has completely come in, revitalized his game in Minnesota, and changed the complexion of that team completely.
I actually totally agree with you, which is funny. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't have it pulled up in front of me. But I believe he also averages the most time on ice in the NHL. At least of the defensemen he does. And I think that's pretty impressive.
He's up there, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's number one, but that's not an easy task. And, dude, Quinn Hughes has been a unit, even with the Canucks. We kind of knew this, right? But like you said, ever since being introduced to the Wild lineup, they've been dominant. I think he actually picked up 2 assists the other night. But yeah, I mean, he's cooking as usual. I think it took him a little bit to settle in, but now that he has, oof, man, I fear the Wild in the West, and
yeah,
thank God the Lightning are in the East right now. Let me tell you that the West has some deadly stuff going on.
well, hang on, because you said that. Have you seen the stat about the Atlantic Division teams over the past 10 games?
Maybe.
So the Lightning, obviously 9 straight wins for them.
Right.
The Red Wings are 7-2-1 in their last 10.
Yeah.
The Canadians are 6-2-2. The Buffalo Sabres are 9-1 in their last 10 games.
They went on a crazy streak too. Yeah.
Yeah. The Bruins are in it. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 7-1-2. So it's like the 5 of the top 6 teams right now are on heaters right now in the division.
Yeah.
So before you go saying, thank God we're not, thank God we're not in the West. Hang on, because I think we're doing pretty good in a tough division right now.
That's true. I think this is a great season. I know I'm kind of swinging the topic a little bit. Whew, everything just so close. But you know what? How about Lane Hudson for the Norris?
I'm with you. Yeah. Is he number 2 on your list?
I don't know. I think I'm kind of with you with Quinn. I think I still have Cale Makar at number 1, but I would take Quinn Hughes second, and I would put Lane probably third. I think he's really boosted the Canadians. I mean, he contributes everywhere. He's a great defenseman too. Let's just take the offense part out of it. I think he's a good shutdown defenseman, and he's a young kid on a young team, and the Canadians are no joke, man. I think he's a reason why. And like you said, if it's about being MVP, I think there's an argument that he's an MVP for that team. And I don't know. I think those 3 are definitely the top 3 for me.
Yeah. So I had Quinn Hughes first, and then Cale Makar, I think you'd put second.
Yeah.
I agree with you that you could absolutely put Lane Hudson up there because he's been phenomenal this year. The team that I would throw up, or the other one that I would throw up there right now and kind of under the radar this year is Zach Werenski, who's actually a couple points behind Cale Makar right now in points. He has the lead among defensemen in goals with 16. And I think maybe just the reason that more people aren't talking about the season he's having, his defensive stats are also phenomenal this year too. Yes. And I think the only reason more people aren't talking about him is because the team he plays for is currently last place in the Eastern Conference, the Columbus Blue Jackets. They are 500. I will point that out. That's the other crazy thing, Greg. Every single team in the Eastern Conference is 500
or better.
Yeah. But I think that's maybe the only reason why Werenski is not getting good credit. But look, we've talked Zach Werenski for a long time. This is maybe the best year of his career. On pace, and we know what a good defenseman he is. And the fact that he's having his career year right now in a season which I don't think anybody is giving him or Columbus any attention whatsoever. It's kind of sad because he is, to me, one of the top the top defensemen in the NHL in terms of the two-way game. Top 10 for sure. And I don't think he's not in the conversation a lot because of who he plays for, but I would have him third right now.
Okay. No, I give you a lot of credit for that, especially because he's a veteran guy, and he's been around a while. He's been doing it a long time. And to have one of your best seasons right now, pretty impressive, especially on a team as awful as the Jackets.
Yeah. So would you go? So let's wrap this up. Would you go Makar, Hughes, Hudson?
Yeah, I think I would.
All right. I'll go Hughes, Makar, Werenski.
Okay.
All right. And you know
I
what?
think Makar has to be top 10 at least.
You know what? The way this season's been going, in 3 months, who knows? Maybe Darren Radish is somewhere in there somewhere.
Darren Radish, number one.
He's not going to be because of the start this season, obviously, but it'd be cool. I wouldn't have had that on my bingo card to begin the year.
I mean, he's like what? He's top 6 or 7, I think, in points for defenseman now. So impressive.
I didn't check today, but when we did our show last week, he was tied for 3rd in defensive points. With Cale Makar. No, he was tied 3rd in defensive goals with Cale Makar and Matthew Schaefer, and I think he was 7th in points overall.
Okay,
I mean, and I haven't checked it today, but that's still pretty good company.
I mean, of course, especially like you said with the beginning of the season, added in there to be 7th over now is awesome. I mean, Darren Radish on fire. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're listening, let us know who you have on your defensive power rankings. Do you agree with us? Am I an idiot for not putting Cale Makar number 1? Let me know. Chime in on our YouTube page or let us know on social media. Locked on Lightning on TikTok, Instagram, pretty much wherever you scroll. Make sure you find us there. We will have a recap of Game 2 of Bolts Flyers on tomorrow's episode, along with the other top topics of the day. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening in on your favorite podcast platform. Not only helps us out with our numbers, but keeps you in the loop so you know whenever we have a new show for you. That's going to do it for us on today's Locked on Lightning. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. Back with a new episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.